Hello everybody. I had some requests from a friend and my subscriber Kinkame. Yes, the same guy as before. He would like to know more about the setting of Airbus A320. So why not to do it the old way, the slow way? So I will just show you how I prepare the plane and the integration of say intentions and how I do it basically. I'm not a real airliner pilot in my life, so all procedures and everything you can see here you must take with a grain of salt, because I'm not a real pilot of this plane. So everything I know about it is just from YouTube and stuff. I'm flying Airbuses since, well, probably 2014 or something, maybe sooner. I began at Flight Simulator X with Aerosoft Airbus A320, and then I moved to Flight Simulator 220 and now to 224. This is the Phoenix A320, and I have Unibuilds A350 and fly-by-wire A380. And I tried fly-by-wire or headwind A320 and A330. I know about the A340, the new one, the Tolis Aerosoft, and of course I know about the Unibuilds A340, but I'm not much into the 4-engine airliners. So let's stick with this one for now. Okay, so basic, yes, if it's moving, basic stuff about this plane. There's this big overhead panel, and behind this it's the other overhead panel with not so many frequency or usable things like this. You can pull and push the the rings, but the main stuff is happening practically here and here. And the Airbus logic is quite simple, and it's in comparison with all the Boeings. The plane was basically a reaction to the Boeing plane, the 737 or something, because the Boeing 737 was and is a great plane, not so much the latest one, but it was the great plane. And Europe basically didn't have any major airliner. Like they had Airbus existed before. They had the A300, A310. It's a long haul intercontinental plane. And in 80s and 90s, it was kind of strange because they didn't know what to do with the planes. Like they improvise. No, I don't think improvise, but they tried stuff like dead branches and stuff. So maybe you know about MD-11, the 3-engine, 3-star, about DC-11, DC-10 and stuff. It was a major shift in what airline companies needed to have, because the fuel prices were kind of crazy back then. So they began to prioritize economy stuff instead of more engines. So that was the reason the MD-11 basically was in a kind of dead space. You had classic 2-engine airplanes like this. You have left engine, right engine, and MD-11 was a 3-engine, so it has one other engine up here. So this was not the APU exhaust, but the real other engine basically here. And 3-star, the same thing. And it's a good thing for some stuff. For example, UPS had these MD-11 or had these MD-11s a lot, because they are very strong, so they could literally took a lot of baggage and stuff. It's a cargo plane for UPS, and you didn't trigger the MTOV of the airplane and of the runways, because the plane is lighter, because of has only 3 engines, not 4 like a jumbo jet 747 or other jumbo, basically other jumbos. Jumbo, it's not 747. Jumbo is a category of planes. So jumbo is 747, A380, and one other. I forgot the DC something. DC-10 or something. I don't know, the big one for engine. Robert will know. And so the reason was they needed to have some economy, new modern plane which could easily do a short or medium hops in Europe or in USA, of course, but the Europe was a priority. So the history is then the history. You can find it on Wikipedia or anywhere. So the A320 family was born, and it was quite revolutionary, because if you look here, you have only one small joystick to control the plane, and it's not connected directly to any of the control surfaces. So if I open the window like that, you can use, and these surfaces that I'm looking on are not directly connected to the joystick. So everything is done by a computer, and the computer do quite a good job with this, because it needs to be safe. So A320 is very popular, very safe, very cheap. Not cheap in the manner of buying the plane, but with the maintaining plane and with the long time maintaining the plane. So this is the reason the Airbus has this, like, the edge over the 737 back then. Of course, the newer 737, 800s, 600s, Maxes, 9, these are great planes, but they are still built on the old technology mind, basically, because it's still the 737. So Boeing, I'm not so sure, because I don't know much about Boeing. So I know they are developing some new medium class airliner, which is not directly linked to 737, because the 737 family is basically old, and it either needs to completely revamp the old tech in the airplane, or it's maybe it's better and more cheap to build a new aircraft from the scratch. Like if you know the Airbus A200, the new lineup, which basically is a smaller plane than this A320, because A320 is quite big, and if you make it longer, you add some doors and stuff, you create the A321, and if you make it shorter, you make the A318, A319. But the issue is, it's still the same airframe, the same engines, or basically the same air engines and stuff. So you have basically the same amount of fuel consumed and so on. So it's not that cheap to maintain and to have it for a long time, like for 10 years or something. So Airbus needed cheap plane, smaller plane, which is small by design, not small by smalling the big plane. So or getting it smaller. So they tried to came up with some stuff, and then, or not then, but meanwhile, there was a company called Bombardier, and they created the Bombardier 200. Super modern, super crazy nice plane, but they could make it only, it's super expensive. So they are in not red numbers, basically. And they were on the brink of the bankruptcy. Boeing went to the American or USA Congress and made some deal about planes in the USA. Yes, Boeing could do that. Boeing is a pretty big company, and Airbus said, we need a plane, we need to do the competition here. So what about this Bombardier? And Bombardier was on the brink of bankruptcy, so they basically bought the Bombardier and renamed the Bombardier 200 to Airbus 200. And Airbus, they have in Toulouse, they have the hangars and everything, technology, so they can make it much cheaper than Bombardier ever could. So that's the reason the new A300 lineup, 300 to 320 lineup, is basically dead end. It won't be renewed because they had the new framework from the Bombardier. So newer Airbus plane, the smaller planes would be based on the Bombardier, and it's a good thing because it's quite revolutionary again. But stop chatting about this stuff. 11 minutes of talking and not doing anything. So let's engage this plane. First, I have these shortcuts so I can look over the plane, because moving the camera like this, it's like not so super fun. So I have this shortcut, and the overhead panel has the three main parts, and you can see it's the sub parts. It's made of the sub blocks, and each block, it's about something, like for air, for electricity, hydrolink, fire extinguishing, and so on. So the logic is like quite logical and simple, basically. But first we need to engage the plane at all. So we have two batteries. We engage the first battery and check the voltage. If the voltage drops below 23, the battery is dead. And it didn't drop almost at all. The same for the second battery. Yeah, you can see some drainage, but not much. It's stable. Okay, we can connect the external power. The plane is connected to this diesel generator, and we can basically connect it to it. So let's do it. And now the plane is booting up. There are a few computers here in the underbelly of the plane, so it needs to boot up and prepare. It will do some chimes, some sounds. It's quite normal because it's booting up and self-testing each component, each testable component, of course. Yeah. So you can see it's like 40. Wow, hey, it has pixels, some time estimates and so on. Now you can see it's just not broken, but it's booting up. So yeah. Other thing, as these computers are running, we can prepare the plane. So we need to do first thing, whatever is white needs to be switched on or off. Depends on the logic. So because it's manually set to off. So we engage the crew supply of oxygen, all pumps, and that's it. Then here are adhers, which are which are the navigational stuff, gyroscopes combined with GPS. It's quite interesting, quite clever, but we need to engage them. There are no off. It's 1, 2, 3. I hope you can see the numbering. So really the first, this one, second and third in this order. And now it's aligning. You can see on this display, it's aligned in more than 7 minutes. Okay, we have time. If we look here, we can see on this display, we can switch the modes here, and the electricity is now connected to extended power. That's the diesel generator, to two main buses, AC1, AC2, and it's no direct current, alternating current in 115 volts and 400 hertz. Yeah, and you have two basically transformers. It's not transformers like the metallic transformers, it's transformer rectifier 1 and 2. It's stuff in near the engines which are cooled by oil. Quite interesting technology, and they are creating the direct current from the two buses, DC1 and DC2. And from DC1 we have set up to the essential DC bus, which has the priority. So if there are some failure and something, this bus has the priority. But batteries are there, but you can see now they are not connected to anything because they are just there like the battery works. If I disconnect the battery, for example this one, and move back, you can see the battery is off. And if I connect it back, if we are lucky, it will be charging a bit for a while. So you can see the arrow, and it's charging. We are 21 amperes. And after it's charged, it's disconnected again. So battery works. It's there, normal stuff. And you can see here is the empty space, kind of. So I hope I'm capturing the right stuff. Yes, I just needed to check up. Here then it will appear the auxiliary power unit power, which is the big turbine here back in the back of the plane. This is the exhaust, and it can generate basically the same stuff like the external power diesel generator, but it's independent on the ground, so you can have it on the plane. So you can see, if I reset it, the default display is on the doors. We have fuel on board 3000 kilos, so we are good to go. If I switch to APU, this is the auxiliary power unit, you can see it's off. So now watch what happens if I set it to the default and hit the master switch of the APU. It's automatically switched to APU. If I, for example, switch to engine, blah blah blah, it's switched, but if I disengage all the switches, it automatically switched to APU. And after this, after like 3 to 5 seconds, I can hit the start button. And now the APU is starting. So we can monitor, and you see the turbine, the N, it has only N1, is turning up. For example, APU in A350 and A380, it has N1 and N2, both of them, because it's a much bigger APU. Because it's much bigger plane and it has a much more consumption electrical. So exhaust temperature 7900, it's all in green, and after the APU is on, basically you can maybe hear it, see it, yeah, it's starting. So then you can see it's generating some frequency, some power. And after it's completed and APU is available, it appears here and the display is resetting. So now it's APU available, and if I check back to electricity system, I can see there's the APU generator here. So now I can safely disconnect if I want. I can safely disconnect, and you can see now the APU only generates the power. It's 39% used. If I connect it back to the ground, now its consumption is 0, because it's nothing. It's everything is overridden by this external power. But we need to disconnect the external power generator. So I will disconnect it. I will engage this tablet. I clicked for the flight import. It's from Prague to Paris. And in the ground services, I can disconnect the GPU. And now I can see, if I look outside, it's no longer connected to anything. And the aircraft is completely autonomous now. Okay, so That was the first thing. Second, now we have the APU running, let's say a few minutes. I engage the lights. It's not necessary to engage beacon lights so far. Beacons are only for the engines, so no beacon lights for now. Let's continue with the preparation. So, emergency lights. It's lights. If you look to the cabin here, are these lights. The emergency lights and these green lights and these lights. So we need to have them running. So let's switch it to armed position. No smoking is always on, because since 70s or something, no smoking ever on a plane. This just set up the backlighting. This set up the backlighting of the these big panels here. In the daylight it's not that much visible. And this is the interesting stuff. It's this little dot here. It's a ice measuring device, optical. So if there's ice, you can't see it because there's ice over it. Very simple. But during the night it's night, so it's good you can light it up. And during the day you can't see it, but during the night it's visible, like it's lighting. And if there's a light over it, you can see it. So there's an indicator basically of a ice. Nice. Seat belts to on position. And now we have prepared this panel for the use. Nice. Other thing, we need to connect the jetway. Jetway is this jetway. In a Turk it's called sleeve. I'm not sure if it's called sleeve everywhere, but it's sleeve. So I will contact the REM frequency, and on this REM frequency they can do our ground stuff. So let's do it. Ramp Cyber 9516 request connecting the jetway. Let me see if they understood us. I hope so. Yes.
Ground to flight deck connecting jetway.
Okie dokie. Doors are opening. And the jetways. I'll open the door so we can hear. And now we can basically see the jetway. It's normal jetway. Okay. So I'll close the doors because of sound. So we have connected the jetway and we can begin the onboarding. After a few minutes of the APU is running, the APU could generate a bleed. It could generate right away, but the procedure is to wait a bit. So let's do the APU bleed. And APU bleed automatically push the air from the APU instead of the engines. These are engines and this is APU to the bleed system. And bleed system is the air conditioned stuff, starting of the engines, everything. So now you can see the actual temperature is blowing like 30 degrees centigrade here. It's too much, so let's cool it down a bit because it's trying to have it hot here. So now it's blowing 20, here 21, because in the cabin there's a cold here so far. And now we are prepared to have the passengers. So I just move back to the tablet here, and I can do a load aircraft. So I will hit load aircraft, pass time, because normally I would do it before. I can disable this sound. And we are flying for the Cyber Air with this German aircraft. So later on the crew would speak in German. And you can see there are 12, 13, 14 people already boarded. Some fuel is added and so on. We can refuel while the APU is on. It's not an issue, but we can't or we mustn't engage the APU starter during the refueling. So if we want to have the APU running and the refuel at the same time, we need to engage the APU and then the refuel. I hope it does make sense. Okay, so our passengers are boarding up and we can prepare for the rest of the flight. So here down there are two similar or not similar, the same computers. Interesting fact, both of them are connected to both computers. So this interface is normally connected to computer 1. This MCDU2 is connected to FCU2, but the computers are still communicating between each other. So if there are some inconsistencies, it's suspicious for the plane. So this redundancy is basically one part of the safety. Let's create the ATCU. ATCU are handling the messages from the from the airliner company, and we can read the load sheet. So I will accept it, and now we need to have these numbers. This is the zero fuel weight, zero fuel weight setting, our fuel on board, and so on. Planned, not actual, planned. So let's go to the second one. I will have this second one as the reference, so this is the reason I'm still switching like that. And let's go to init page. And the init page, you basically initialize the whole flight. So if there's necessity, so you basically initialize the whole flight. So you hit init. It will load from SimBrief the pre-filed route. Yeah, from Prague to Paris. I can open the SimBrief here, and I see it's this index comes up. I forgot the name. See, it's index. It's a number which says how much hard is the plane to itself during the climb and descent and stuff. Bigger number means bigger consumption, but little lesser times. So it's a number usually from 0 to 100, but it's unlimited. So our flight is Cyber 9516. So Cyber 1596. Double check. Cyber 9516. Cyber 9516. First index was 16, 18. Yeah, that's the reason I need to check everything twice. And the flight level would be 260, correction, 360. Yep. Now we need to download the winds. Winds are basically just the information about the winds during the flight, so the computer could analyze it and have the corrections of the speed and time estimates. So I'll download. Okay, so winds are downloaded for all parts of the plane flight. So this is the climb, Then if you this is the cruise wind, this is the descent wind for the future reference. So flights are here, and now if there are these two small arrows, you can switch left and right in these pages. So I switch to the next page, and here are the common numbers for the zero fuel weight and so on, and these are the numbers we read here. So 57.1, 57.1 to 32.4, fuel, it's this number. It could compute something, but if we had already this number pre-filed, why not? 10.9er, 10.9er, and computer all automatically computes everything in a second. It's not that fast. Yeah, so we had some estimates, times, extra, everything. Okay, so we have the basic initialization done, and now we can basically wait for the passengers to board up and begin our flight procedures. Yeah, not right now, the plane is not fully loaded yet, but soon. In the meanwhile, I can show you the flight plan. So far we don't have the departure. It would be probably runway 12 or runway 30, because in Prague since end of the March to the August there are maintenance works on the runway 0624, so yeah, probably the second one, or not probably, for sure it would be the second one. Plane could in the data compute the equitime points. If you enter the number of the wind, it knows the equitime. Equitime is the point 239 miles from now, 4 minutes, which is basically the half of the route. So if anything happens before this, we need to get back, and if anything happened after this point, we need to get forward, if it does make sense. So this is the point where it happens, this border, and of course you need to add the wind, because this this changes the number a bit, of course, because the wind blows. Fine. So plane is loaded. We can dismiss the jetway. You can disconnect the jetway. Thank you. So it will disconnect the jetway. Yes.
Ground to flight deck, retracting jetway. Have a good morning.
So we have this, and now we can ask for the clearance and stuff. So I will tune up the clearance. The radios are here, and I have shortcuts for it, so you don't see I'm tuning it. I will check the map here. Sorry. When there's a stutter and I'm moving with the camera, it's then it looks somewhere by random. Sorry for the random zooms. So in Prague there's the QNH 1014. All are linked, so it's cool, and it's information hotel. So let's go. Clearance, Cyber9er 516, request IFR clearance to Paris as filed with information hotel. And we will see what's happened.
Stand by, you're number one.
Okay, standing by. Tram, tram, tram.
Cyber 9er 516, cleared to Paris Orly via the Bal 26 Hotel departure, expect runway 12. Initial climb to flight level 050, departure on 120.53, squawk 4135.
I don't know why he said it twice, but okay. Clear to Paris Orly via Bal 6 Hotel departure, then as filed. Climb flight level 50. Expecting flight level 360 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.01. Squawk is 4135. Cyber 9er 516. Okay, so he's...
Cyber 9er 516, cleared to Paris Orly via the Bal 26 Hotel departure, then as filed. Climb flight level 50, expect flight level 360 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.010, squawk 4135.
Not sure why he said it twice, but why not? As I said, he said it twice. Okay, so...
Cyber 9er 516, read back correct. Contact ground on 121.901 when ready.
Meine Damen und Herren, herzlich willkommen an Bord von Cyber Air Flug 9516, der von Václav-Havel Flughafen Prag nach Paris Orly Flughafen fliegt. Bitte nehmen Sie Ihre Plätze gemäß Ihren Bordkarten ein und verstauen Sie Ihr Handgepäck in den Gepäckfächern über Ihnen oder unter dem Sitz vor Ihnen. Wenn Sie Hilfe benötigen, zögern Sie bitte nicht, sich an ein Mitglied der Crew zu wenden. Steigen Sie ein und finden Sie Ihren Platz. Vergessen Sie nicht, ein Exemplar unseres Bordmagazins Cyber Air News mitzunehmen.
Okay, so that was the cabin crew, and we can now basically begin our cruise. So for first thing, he set our clearance, which was the runway 12. So back where I'm doing in the flight plan, I will click on the corresponding button here. It's not touch screen. Click departure and select the 12, and we were from the Bal 6 Hotel. Bal 6 Hotel is here, so this is our standard instrument departure. We emptied it, and the temporary part was added here, so we can now use it. In performance, we need to compute these numbers. We have a calculator here, so departure, synchronized weather, and let's just hit continue. That's it, but not 24, but 12. Okay. So these are the numbers: 145, 145, 146, flaps 1, flex temperature 62, and we can send it to MCDU. So it's not necessary to write it manually here. We'll be using the whole part of the runway. This is the shift of the beginning of the runway. Okay, we are ready. So now I will tune up the ground frequency. And the ground frequency, I will ask for the clearance to push and start. Ruzynie ground, good morning. Cyber 9er 516, request pushback and start.
Cyber 9er 516, pushback and start approved, face northwest.
Pushback and start approved, facing northwest, Cyber 9er 516. Okay, so now I need to call the ground personnel again, and we'll beginning our pushback. Ramp, please connect the tuck, and we are ready for pushback. Let's see how long it's...
Ground to flight deck, tug en route. Stand by for brakes release.
Yeah, he's coming.
Bypass pin inserted. Just let me know when you're ready to start the pushback.
Ready for pushback. Now he will lift us up on the vehicle. The
Ground to flight deck, release parking brake, tug standing by for pushback.
Parking brake is off. You see how he is lifting us up.
Roger, stand by.
Now he's moving us.
Ground to flight deck, cleared for engine start and sequence.
Clear for engine sequence, so beacons, starter, and engine number 2. And we just need to monitor if everything is on
Meine
green
Damen und Herren,
and so on.
herzlich willkommen an Bord von Cyber Air Flug 9516 nach Paris-Orly. Die geschätzte Flugzeit beträgt 81 Minuten. Bitte schenken Sie der bevorstehenden Sicherheitsdemonstration Ihre volle Aufmerksamkeit, da sie wichtige Informationen enthält, selbst für häufige Flieger. Bitte schnallen Sie Ihre Sicherheitsgurte an, wenn das Anschnallzeichen leuchtet. Stellen Sie sicher, dass Ihre Rückenlehnen und Tischchen in aufrechter Position sind und die Fensterjalousien für den Start und die Landung geöffnet sind. Mobiltelefone und elektronische Geräte müssen auf Flugmodus eingestellt werden. Laptops oder größere Geräte müssen während des Starts und der Landung sicher verstaut werden. Rauchen und die Benutzung von E-Zigaretten sind an Bord, einschließlich der Toiletten, verboten. Sauerstoffmasken fallen automatisch herunter, wenn sie benötigt werden. Ziehen Sie die Maske fest, setzen Sie sie über Mund und Nase und atmen Sie normal. Sichern Sie zuerst Ihre eigene Maske, bevor Sie anderen helfen. Die Schwimmwesten befinden sich unter Ihrem Sitz oder zwischen den Sitzen. Ziehen Sie sie an, schnallen Sie sie fest und blasen Sie sie erst nach dem Verlassen des Flugzeugs auf. Der Bodenbeleuchtung zeigt Ihnen den Weg zu den nächsten Ausgängen, die deutlich gekennzeichnet sind. Es gibt insgesamt 2 Ausgänge vorne und hinten im Flugzeug. Bitte lassen Sie bei einer Evakuierung Ihr persönliches Gepäck zurück. Befolgen Sie alle Sicherheitsanweisungen des Personals sofort. Wenn ein Powerbank oder ein anderes elektronisches Gerät überhitzt oder Feuer fängt, informieren Sie bitte sofort die Crew. Die Sicherheitskarte in der Tasche vor Ihnen enthält alle Details. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit.
Ground to flight deck, pushback complete. Please ensure parking brakes are set. Standing by for confirmation of good engine start and report when ready for disconnect.
Okay, so that was the safety and the push. I disconnected the APU, and now I can say we have a good engine start. You can disconnect. So long.
Ground to flight deck, disconnecting tug now. Stand by for confirmation that ground crew is clear.
Yep. Now we are basically ready to taxi, and that's it. It's nothing much more to do.
Bypass pin removed. We've disconnected and crew is clear. You're good to go. Have a great flight. See you soon.
I will just skip back to ground. Request ground clearance. Ruzeně ground, Cyber 9516, request IFR taxi. Let's see.
Cyber 9516, runway 12 taxi via Bravo 2, Bravo Delta Lima.
Runway 12, taxi via Bravo 2, Bravo Delta Lima, Cyber 9516. Okay, so it's 12. It's simple. So let's engage the taxi light. This is the light on the front of the plane. Yep. Everything else is ready. Let's go. First, we need to do some basic check. So we need to check if it's turning. Engines, if they are working, they have thrust. We have thrust. It's turning, it's braking, and now we will do the flight controls check. So full left, full right, full forward, and full up. Rudders and brakes are checked. Yes. So we have a green. Now spoilers, we need to arm them. So let's arm. And that's basically it for now. We're just going via B2, Bravo 2 here, and then this way and bye-bye. So it's quite simple. We can now hit the takeoff check, this button, and it will check if everything is completed and if everything is, the values are right and stuff. So everything now for the cabin needs to check the crew, and the opposite way, the crew needs to check if the cabins are okay, the passengers are seated, stuff. So, yep. And now we are going to this one, yes. This is Bravo, for the runway 24. Yeah. Yeah, cabin are okay. Yep. We'll let know that we are ready. Let's continue this way. This is ground speed 16. See other planes here.
Ryanair 901 Tango Tango ready to taxi.
Ryanair 901 Tango Tango, runway 12 taxi via Hotel Lima.
Runway 12 taxi via Hotel Lima Ryanair 901 Tango Tango.
I will disengage the traffic alerts for now, because we are on the ground. Okay, so then right here. Auto brake max for the emergency brake on the runway during the takeoff. So we don't need to brake or anything, we just hit the reversers and aircraft will stop as soon as possible. Okay, there's the lineup. Yeah, runway is not active, but still the runway 12 is from here there, so we need to stand here. It's quite interesting. And I will ask ground. We are holding short runway 12, ready to hand off to ground, correction to tower frequency. Thank you. Okie dokie.
Cyber 9 or 516, contact tower on 134.56 for departure.
Tower on 134.56, so long, Cyber 9 or 516. Okay, so I will call the tower. Rusinia Tower, good morning, Cyber 9516, holding short runway 12, ready for departure.
Cyber 9516, Rose Enya Tower, runway 12, winds 210 at 12, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 12, clear for takeoff, Cyber 9512. Okay. Takeoff lights, these slides, these slides, these slides, and these slides. Everything is ready. Yeah. Chrono set up. Click the timer. Just need to get there. Yeah, we are crossing the runway. We need to begin, so let's enter. We are ready. Okay. Engines. All green. Climb Manflex. All green. Strong wind. Gear up, positive climb. Whoa. Ground spoilers off.
Cyber 9516, contact departure on 120.53.
Contacting departure on 120.53, Cyber 9516. Okay. We can engage the autopilot. Contacting departure. Speed check, flaps 0. Departure, good morning, Cyber 9516, altitude 3300, climbing to 5000.
Cyber 9516, resign departure identified.
Yep, and now it's basically just a waiting game. So there was a departure, everything else is quite simple. So let's engage the music, and thank you for listening. If you up here, I know it's about 40 minutes or 50 minutes of talking and showing, so I hope you liked it. And
Cyber 9516, climb flight level 220.
flight level 220, Cyber 9516. 220. Okay, so goodbye.